So when she's going to executive, whenever she pops in.
Yeah, just let her talk to her about it, she needs to get to the band.
Okay.
No.
Keith? Motion? Sorry, need to vote. Public hearing amendment fiscal year 2019 budget.
Just ask for comments.
Have any? Would ask for any public comments on the fiscal year 2019 budget? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
You just declare the public hearing closed.
Public hearing is closed. All right, first thing on the docket. Before I get going, where's Ann at? Before we forget, I can duck him down. I just want to go thank you for your years of service in Norfolk. That's because this is your last board meeting. I want to make sure that when I look up, you're not falling asleep or anything. So,
I'll pay
but
attention, I
thank you
promise.
for your years of service, Ann.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, well.
Taylor, do you want to, why don't you jump right in?
Okay.
No pressure.
I did not come very prepared, so I'm sorry if I kind of mumble my words a little bit or say a lot. I'm really sorry for that. See, there we go. Okay, so, I guess I'm talking about the Culinary and Hospitality class that Mrs. Williams teaches here at the school. We provide meals for teachers every other week on Wednesdays. We do a soup, salad, sandwich, and a bunch of desserts. We really touch up a lot on sanitation and safety and a lot of proper food handling. All of us have taken a authorized test to actually serve the teachers. If we did not take the test, we would not be allowed to. We do kind of go over things from the other classes, Foods 1 and 2. It's a lot of basic skills that are kind of taught to come back into real life situations. And it's not always just a class where you sit and you learn. We are running an actual business. We do make money off of this to help buy packaging and other ingredients. For me personally, I want to go into the advertisement field, and so even though that it does not touch up a lot on culinary, it is something that I love a lot, and this class has also given me the opportunity to really work with things like logos and other things like that. I've gotten to design a few stickers and labels that we put on food items, which is, for me, that's fun. For others, they just kind of want to sit and cook and things like that, which is also fun. But there is a business aspect to it, and for the class being only seniors this year, it has been super helpful having a more business aspect to the class.
I got some of her stickers and stuff, logos that she made over there that we put on our packaging. And then if you guys wanted to look at anything, we do have all of our this is our serve safe they get. It's through everybody that works at a restaurant or 1% of a restaurant has to have the not just the food handler, but the I have one that, so you can serve food. I can't think of the name. And then we've got our items here that they've made menus.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we also create our own menus, right? The descriptions for each food item.
And those are in here if you want to look at any of them. We have some of those. And then we started to-go, and how many pizzas did we make today?
Close to 30.
Yeah.
It was a lot of pizzas. We had an entire assembly line. It was a challenging day,
Yeah.
but there is a lot of fun in the class.
And then here's our massive recipe book that we continue to change and stuff,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So.
There's something added or taken out almost every week.
So we have for you what we served yesterday, which was our kids' favorite menu. So Taylor loves the pasta almond chicken salad, so there's a few items of that. And then we have two, I don't know what the kids made you, two pizzas that are probably more supreme.
Yeah, they are supreme slash, we don't have a specific name really. The pizzas are more supreme slash combo, I guess. There's a combination of meat and vegetables on there.
And teachers can order those what they want on them. So they personally order those. So the kids learn how to organize. It's all a lot of organizing.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of trying. We tried that a lot. And then there's some sweets from one of our Easter orders, the truffles, and then we made ice cream sandwiches. Homemade ice cream, so some of those cookies went in between or outside the ice cream. So that's what we have for you for our Taste of West Indies today. So, but yeah, Taylor's been awesome. She's learned a lot.
She's dealt with me for 4 years.
And we do price items out too. So and then just
Yeah.
kind of, but that's a whole thing for them. And we don't get best prices. Then we just try to go up a few dollars just to cover packaging and all of that. So that was my main thing is the packaging. I think
Yeah.
they learned a lot this year about
Oh,
the
yeah.
packaging. So she's been awesome. I'm going to miss her tons. So I'm going to have to train somebody else.
I'll interject here. Last year was the first time I ever had handballs in my entire life. And they brought them in last year at the same time. I got a couple because Keith beat me to the majority of them, but I would highly recommend if you're I would use them and get their handballs because they are tremendous.
And not to put Dr. Mart under the bus, but he asked me Monday to do this. And we had our cupcake wars yesterday, we had a meal, and then we had all these pizzas.
It's
So
been
it was like, I
crazy.
couldn't fit it in.
You're all right.
So we decided, what's 2 more pizzas? We'll make you pizza, and then we had some salads left and then some desserts.
I
So,
highly recommend salad.
I do like that too, but I do know where you work, so I can probably track you down.
so,
All right.
any other questions?
Thank you, Taylor, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
all
Thank
your
you very much.
I'll open are you guys eating later, or what do you eat?
That's these guys.
Huh?
Anybody out there, help yourself too. Yep. Anybody else out there, help yourself.
They can uncover it? Okay, I'll
You
get
go
out
ahead.
of then.
Yeah,
You go
enjoy,
ahead.
and thank you for letting me talk again this year.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Approve the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Consent items? Any questions? David, Bills?
I was good on mine.
Yeah.
We got mentioned.
Yeah, we got
it.
No, there's no other questions.
Any questions?
What was the key last?
To pay for part of her education so she can teach override courses here.
How do we write 50/50?
That was her recommendation.
Is there any consideration to pick up, maybe, more of it?
I'm following her recommendations, or should post.
Is there any commitment with that though?
5 years.
Okay.
5 year. Similar to what we had done with the teacher in the past, or already to pick up an endorsement.
Motion to approve the consent items.
Well, we got, I guess, beyond that, I did have another question on the agreements.
Yep. Yep.
So just a couple of these, before we sent, there are a couple of them weren't filled out, so there was no information. So if we're just printing off, hopefully it's been completed now, but like the this Strive.
Strive, that would be
That, that didn't have any of the pre-populated or the context in it. There was one, this, the storage and design group,
Uh-huh.
is that the second purchase from these guys?
It is, so
Okay.
one hallway is done, then John and I were looking at that on the side, and we did a hallway, so we can get.
So in their additional terms, I don't know if you noticed this, it says hidden fees such as pollution insurance and texture payment system charges are not in bid and must be added. It is, the way they word that is terrible, but anyway, so I don't know what that cost is, but obviously that's not in the 22.5, so whatever we're gonna approve, I mean.
We've used that company before and haven't had that.
Yeah, it's just, it says right down there, when I read through them, it was, it sounds,
I know.
it doesn't sound good, so I'm not sure what it is, why they don't just state what the cost is.
What was the bridge though, too?
So that I can buy tires through a company bridge buses.
Okay. And then, were we gonna say, the SAI mentoring?
So we have to, that's something we do every year, we have to have an agreement in place for mentoring administrators. This year we need to use it for Mr. Allison. We perhaps we've not had to, but we still have it in place by our code.
And then the last question was on the Digium selection, so everybody that needed to see that saw it and liked the system and the phone?
Yeah, that was that seemed to be the way that everybody kind of felt, and I think that we're looking forward to getting it installed.
Good.
All right, any other questions? Calendar, any questions on that? No? Partnership agreements, vendors? Okay.
Well, and the other last thing on that 3D, well, the partnership agreements with that 3D coaching, so I know that's what they pitched to us.
Right.
And we saw, right. So as far as the implementation of that, I'm trying to remember the presentation, did that lay out the actual next steps and how soon that would all?
So, yeah, so what we've decided to do is segment it out into 4 sections, like a summer, fall, winter, spring. So our coaches, the football coaches are not going to want to take a class during the fall, so they'll pick another. And then we're going to, a lot of this is online, you can do by yourself, but we don't want to do that, so we want to kind of create cohorts. Those cohorts are have meetings set up where they share out and kind of cooperate together as they move through the coursework.
Okay.
And that's the plan right now. The specifics of, what each date looks like, I don't have that down yet.
I was just curious in general, kind of roll out what the.
And if any of you know RJ Summerall, you know that name, the Ohio State guy?
Yep, Ohio State, yep.
Yeah, so RJ's been working with a lot of people with this 3D, and he volunteered to come out and support our coaching staff and kind of help us lead us through this first year as we're doing. Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Other than that, no other questions on the library?
Motion to approve the consent items.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, public comments. Ms. Breeze, like to talk about demographic study?
Yeah, so my question is, as a parent who's concerned about class sizes at West Elementary, I attended the parent partnership meeting that was held this winter, where Dr. Mart was going to talk about demographics. Do you have those demographics yet?
We do, we need to study those as a board more, and then
Okay.
we're gonna put them on the website,
Okay,
yeah, when we're all done.
okay, thank you very much.
We sent it back to him, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Because we found a couple errors in it, it's just to be,
Yeah.
and so we sent it back to him. And so now they got it back to us, like a couple of weeks ago? So, yeah. But thank you.
So timeline wise, when do you think we would have that on the website? Like when are we gonna meet as a board to talk about
That's what we need to decide at tonight.
Anything else? Good.
Yep, that's
Nope,
it, thank
that's it?
you.
Okay. All right. Diane Hammond, special education.
Thank you. I'd just like to share, things that I have come to my attention and I have some concerns about. So, pardon me, I'm just going to read what I wrote so I can stay on task. 16 years ago, I stood before the North Polk School Board advocating for a preschool program to be started here in the district that would be inclusive for kids with and without special needs. Historically, at that time, 3-year-olds with special needs within the district were bused to Bondurant for preschool. As a mother of 2-year-old twins, one of whom has Down syndrome, I could not fathom putting my 3-year-old on a bus to Bondurant while her twin brother, 6-year-old sister, and 10-year-old brother attended school here in the community we consider our home. For the last 16 years, I have advocated for the teachers and principals within this district to look at inclusion and education of children with special needs through different lenses. Today I stand before you again advocating for my daughter and all children with special needs within this district. As I am sure you are aware, it is the law that school districts provide services to children with special needs until they are 21. I would like to publicly share my concerns regarding the culture of special education in this district from a parent's perspective. Instead of focusing on my twins' accomplishments and graduation celebration that's coming up this weekend, I am here in front of you pleading that you as a board make decisions that will positively impact the culture of special education for our district. Last fall, we as a team of North Polk educators, parents, and AE representatives made an IEP, an individual education plan for my daughter, Madison, to continue her work-based learning and goals in the areas of living, learning, and working past her senior year here at North Polk. As a parent, I was relieved to have a plan in place for Madison, as the transition to adult services is a tedious and painstaking process, one in which we as a team agreed that Madison would benefit from a 5th year in high school before tackling. And not sure you can possibly imagine the distress that a meeting with Mrs. Ludwig and Mrs. Phillips caused in March when they suggest that Madison may not benefit from a 5th year. Adult services is not something that parents of children with disabilities can just put into place in a matter of weeks. It often takes a couple of years to get these services in place. I was even further alarmed to learn that our family was not the only family with a child with special needs that was being told their child may not need services past their senior year. I don't know where the source of the problem lies or who is responsible for the problems that exist within this district regarding special education. But as a parent of twins graduating in 3 days, I can tell you that this is the absolute last place I want to be tonight. I want to be home like all the other moms, preparing for graduation parties and decorating their homes with their child's accomplishments. Instead, I am here begging you, as a school board, to make decisions that are in the best interest of all the kids in this district. I can tell you that, in my opinion, individuals at all levels have dropped the ball. From the superintendent to the director of special programs, the principal, and the special education teachers, I believe all have played a part in letting down this small but still important population of kids within this district. I am here not only being an advocate for Madison, but also for the other parents who are too nervous about the impact speaking up will have on their children or on their jobs within the district. This is not just about the kids being impacted this year, but for all of the kids coming up within the district. I don't know what the agenda is with each of our families being told our kids no longer need services or no longer need a 5th year, or being told that North Polk doesn't have a 5th year curriculum to meet our children's needs. Is it money? Is it staffing? Is it lack of direction or education? I don't know. I truly don't know, and that is why I'm here. I'm standing before you as a mom who honestly is just really, really tired of trying to help this district look through different lenses at the needs and rights of our children with special needs. I have advocated for numerous things throughout the years for my child and for the rest of the children within this district who have special needs. I have pushed for the special education classroom to stop showing Disney movies every afternoon when they were in elementary and to use that time to educate our children. When Madison started high school, her friends told me that they couldn't sit with Madison at lunch because Madison and the other kids with special needs had to go through the line early so they wouldn't get in the way of their peers going through the lunch line. Can you imagine? And to make matters worse, they spent time collecting, the educators spent time collecting data on Madison if Madison had enough time to eat if she didn't go through the lunch line early. Their data showed that Madison never finished her meal, and upon asking what she didn't eat, they said her vegetables. I'm like, well, if you can get her to eat vegetables, that would be awesome, because she doesn't eat them at home either. They spent numerous hours in time on something that was just ridiculous. I could share example after example of things that I have had to fight for through the years. You know, the interesting thing is that one of my goals for all of my children has always been that they know that they are loved and accepted by the people we surround them with. We chose to live in this community. This has never been more evident that this community has embraced Madison and my family. Seeing everyone want pictures with Madison last night at Seniors Awards Night, or the amazing time she had on the senior trip to DC, these kids, the kids in this district, get it. They have all been brought up understanding that inclusion is important. But from an educational perspective, this district has some work to do. And that has never been more apparent than in the last 6 weeks. Being called into a transition meeting, being told out of the blue that Madison has done so well, and that if she is scoring so high on her work rubrics, that we should look at transitioning her out into adult services by the end of this school year. When I examined the rubrics, it was obvious that the data was skewed. Madison was scoring 5 out of 5 on items like getting to work on time. Her associate drives her to work. Of course, she gets a 5 out of 5 on that rubric. She still requires hand-over-hand assistance and multiple prompts to complete a task in those work environments. In April, another IEP transition meeting was held with all of the IEP team members. This was the first time I had met the director of special programs. She did not speak up in the meeting or offer any direction during the meeting. During this meeting, the only goal that was suggested was presented by the special education teacher was one in which Madison would learn to use voice to text. Madison does not speak in more than 3 to 4 word sentences, and that's the goal that was presented to us. Interesting enough, another parent shared with me that the voice to text was also just suggested to her for a goal for her son. Numerous times throughout the years, other children's names have shown up on my daughter's IEP. One year, Madison's IEP stated that she did a great job helping decorate for homecoming. When did she do that? That wasn't Madison. That was not supposed to be on there. During this transition IEP in April, I presented 2 pages of goals that I had researched that I felt would be appropriate in the areas of living, learning, and working that would push Madison to be the most that she can be. No one else had any suggestions for goals, and there was no further discussion about Madison not returning the following year. You can imagine my confusion. A phone call from the director of special programs yesterday did not provide much direction or insight either. As she stated, she had no idea that there were problems, and she doesn't really even know Madison. When I shared my concerns regarding the immense amount of stress that sudden change in philosophy had put on us parents, I was told by the principal that it is just a process change, Diane. That's all it is. In my opinion, none of them have been advocates for my daughter or for what's right for the kids with special needs within this district. I am a firm believer in being a part of the solution and a member of my children's team when it comes to their education. So I offer these suggestions as I conclude tonight. As a board, I ask you to seriously look at who is responsible to set the culture of special education at all levels within this district. That the special education department be provided the resources they need to do their job well. Provide education, give them tools to utilize to stay current in what is best practice for this specialized area of education. There are so many resources, so many other districts that do transition well and do special education well. Why are we not utilizing them? My other suggestion would be that years ago we had what was called a Special Education Advisory Committee. My request would be that that advisory committee reconvene, that members include educators and family members from all buildings across the district, so that we can make a difference moving forward to all the children in this district that are coming up, and so that no other family has to endure what we have over the last several weeks. And lastly, I'd like to invite each of you to Madison's graduation party, so that you can personally see what an amazing young woman she is. Get to know her. Get to know the other children within this district with special needs, so you can understand what we as parents are fighting for, and why we are asking you as leaders to be setting a culture that serves the needs of all the children throughout the entire district. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. James, since you have a...
Thank you very much. No, I think that's a great idea to get that advisory committee back together and start looking at ways that we can improve our special ed program. I will tell you that you definitely have our attention, and we are going to spend our time looking into everything we can to make sure that our SPED department is addressing the needs of our students the best that we can. And yeah, thank you for sharing everything with us.
Diane, could you provide a copy of that
Yes.
to each board member, specifically the goals?
Yes.
We take it now.
Oh. Yes.
You don't, no, not right, no, I don't, you can just,
I'll have somebody make copies, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but no.
thank you. And we do take this very serious, Diane. I think you, hopefully you realize that we do. And we will do everything within our power or resources to try to come to some sort of agreement, or try to maybe overhaul the system. I mean, we'll dig deep into it to figure out where the issue lies. I'm concerned with the communication aspect of things, and we will get into that. We'll figure out where the breakdown is, and we'll go from there the best we can. And we'll keep you abreast of our progress. I'd like to say we can do it overnight, but it's gonna take us some time. You know, and I know you've been working on it for years and years and years. So you have our attention, and we will work on it.
I know, not only that, if I could just make a statement to support her in the fact that I'm Jill Schultz, and my son is in a grade younger than Madison in this special ed room. And we were also told this spring that is meeting his goals great, why does he need a fifth year? When it's always been in our plan for that. So it's not coincidence, I wouldn't. And neither of us know why.
And I will see you Sunday.
Thank you. Madison had a whole wall. And Luke only had a part of the wall.
Diane, any further comments? Any board members? Comments? Tyler? No, Tyler? Thank you.
No, just thanks for coming in.
Yeah. Mr. Crable.
I'll defer my time. Thank you.
What's that?
I'll defer my time. Thank you. I don't know what you to say.
Okay, all right, okay. No more? Okay, all right. Thank you for your time. Administrative Director reports. Ms. Stokes.
Yeah, so I'll answer any questions over the written report. highlight a couple things that aren't in there. We've got 8th grade orientation meetings planned. The 8th graders will be coming over the afternoon of May 23rd, putting together about a 2-hour program there where they'll do some icebreakers, meet some of our high school student leaders, take tours of the building with some specific spots so they can become comfortable with that, and then have a question and answer time at the end with several different staff members, from activities to the office to the counselors and so on. So busy planning that. And then we have just scheduled our fall family engagement night. Will be for the 8th to 9th transition, will happen on our August 21st open house night, and ICANN will be coming in presenting basically an overview to parents and students of things to consider and be aware of as they transition from 8th to 9th grade and prepare for high school. So we're really trying to get that basically college career readiness plan in place, and where we haven't had much in there really any grade level for transition work. And so this year we worked on juniors and seniors. Next year we'll be adding in the freshmen at the beginning of the year, and the sophomores will have an event about October. So that we've got something basically each grade level 9 through 12 that'll support the 4-year plans and so on. Some of that deals with just awareness of financial aid sort of things and application stuff, all the way to college, things to consider, courses to take in consideration for college. And this goes along then as we continue to grow our concurrent enrollment offerings here at the high school too. So kind of trying to show how we're lining all that up. Other than that, questions?
What's the plan for the content from the American Lung Association? So that was presented to the teachers.
Oh, yeah. And I should have brought, they've got handouts, and I'd be happy to share this with you. They've got handouts for students, for parents, and for educators. And so on Monday, she came and presented to the teachers and did the educator presentation. And really what it talks about is the trend of e-cigarettes, and specifically vape devices, and specifically Juuls, and how the tobacco companies are really the ones sponsoring all of this. And so what was once proposed as a way to start to reduce your cigarette use, once the tobacco companies started supporting that, really they have advertised specifically to teens and young adults. And because none of it's FDA regulated, even when it puts on there that this cartridge does not contain nicotine, there's actually no way to know. And through their research, they found that most of them do contain enough traces of it to cause addiction. And so just the scary aspect of, because it's not a regulated product, we don't really know. And the reality is the current group that is enthusiastic about using these devices is also the current research group. That we don't know what the long-term effects are going to be until these kids are 10 years, 20 years, 30 years older. And so that's the scary reality, is there really is no information as to what truly the effect could be using these e-cigarette devices. And so then she also showed various looks of them, so that there's just an awareness of what those look like. Many schools have banned jump drives because a lot of the cartridges and even the tool itself looks small enough, like a pen or a jump drive or things like that, that you wouldn't even think twice that somebody would have with them. So just how tricky it is. It's really a very difficult thing to fight at all, because it's so that most of them are created that you can hold them in your hand and completely conceal it. And so just informing us on the epidemic. We did a family a presentation during our spring family engagement night. Both Deputy Blaylock and Lisa Reinhart, who's one of our counselors that we share, they presented sessions, and so they did the parent presentation part of that, and then in partnership with Rob and Riley, we were able to have the trailer come out during a couple of those events, again as another way to just community and parent information on, like, here's what your child's exposed to. Social media has really helped create enthusiasm around these products, so just information. And if you guys want the handouts, let me know. I'm happy to email those. It's like an information page front and back about what the American Lung Association knows with the money they've spent so far on the research of it.
Okay. Thank you.
You had mentioned that, different topic, that kind of 8 of the 28 new courses offered were DMAC. Do you have just like a summary what kind of courses those were?
Yeah, let me pull it up quick.
I mean, they like liberal arts core or?
So we're adding principles of agronomy and survey of animal sciences, so that'll be part of the ag department. We're adding AP Lit. So we've offered AP Lit before, but now we have another teacher that's certified to be able to teach it through DMAC, so students will automatically get college credit for it and not have to take the AP test to earn that college credit. So that was a class that we already offered, but now they get the credit for it. DMAC Women Writers is another one, and so that's in our ELA. So either one of those can count toward one of their semesters for graduation. Students have to have 4 years of English. We're also adding AP Environmental Science, Intro to Biology. Those are both in the science department, and then AP Psychology, and that was the request from Carrie Luss, because she'll be conditionally able to teach that starting next year, so students can get credit for that class too. That's one of our, at this time, most popular 4 ones that kids take that we don't offer here yet,
Right.
up into the like 80, yeah. And then just everything from journalism and culinary classes to we're going specific with some painting and drawing and sculpture classes and digital media course. We're adding music and theater management and some tech production classes so that students that are interested in that area can develop that, music theory and history, electronics and the drones class and home repair and maintenance. Those 3 come out of the industrial tech content area, along with an automation robotics one that'll be a new launch course for that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Richards?
Yeah, just finishing up the school year. Just want to personally thank the board for the support. May is always one of my favorite months. It's a time you get to build relationships with kids, and teachers get to let their guards down a little bit. And it's neat when they're going on some of the different field trips and just seeing some of the culture and the relationships that they've built throughout the years. So I just want to personally, publicly thank my teachers. We did a share out in our last professional learning community day, and it was really neat to see all the work that they had put in from the beginning of the year, when maybe it was, how do we be a team, norms, to kind of what they've accomplished. And we got a lot of feedback from the teachers that they would like to do that more often, to see what their colleagues are working on and some of the work that they're going through. And I think that's good for culture also. We have our middle school awards ceremonies coming up. We do at Tuesday, the 21st at night, we do a little ceremony with our 8th graders. It's the only dance we host at the middle school, but we do a little class dinner and dance after the awards show. So lastly, I just personally want to thank Ann. Came here 8 years ago, and Ann was a great mentor to me, and she always was willing to answer all my questions when I first started, so I appreciate that. The only bad thing is, now at our admin meetings, I'm going to be the one asked about, hey, you were here a little while back, what did you do? So now I'm going to have to answer those. So, no, but thank you, Ann, for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. And your last one.
You're all gonna cry when I walk out the door. Just want to extend a little bit on my first bullet about the essential standards work. You know that we have been unwrapping those, and teams have been working together, and a lot of good conversations, especially vertically. And I think that's going to be the power of the PLC work continuing next year, are those conversations so that we can keep building on skills and not the same thing being taught year after year, is that we truly do build and we increase that level of rigor for kids. So excited about that work to continue. Then I also want to just highlight, I put in there about Ken Morse, our Polk City tree guy. He is always willing to invite the kids for those tree plantings near Arbor Day. And, if you look at West Elementary, there are it's beautiful with all of the trees, and he was a big part of that. And a few years ago, he lost his wife, Julie. And so at West, we took up a collection and got a little child's bench, and we put a plaque on it in her memory. And so due to construction, that was moved. And so it was brought over to the high school, so I wanted to I think Paul Christensen was the one who kind of refinished it and cleaned it up, and he brought it back over yesterday. So we've got it back out on the playground now, so, he's just really been a tremendous, person and just really supportive of the kids and the teachers there at West. So you'll have to take a look at it.
Does he know it's back?
Yes, yeah. And I let Jason know too, and so, yeah, they know it's back on the playground.
Thank you. Anything else, Aaron?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann, again.
You're welcome.
Outside of what I kind of dropped in there underneath my report, we've been getting some information just fresh off the press about the Iowa report card and some of those details, so that'll be coming. We don't have it yet, but we talked about it today at admin, and we haven't even gotten our eyes on it, but that's coming out soon. And then we've also signed up for the new framework that is coming out for the state of Iowa, and it's really closely aligned to TAP model and our North Polk best practice rubric. And so we get to attend some training this summer for free. 5 to 12 of our educators can attend that. And so it's a framework that the state has adopted. Good news is we've kind of already been using that tool, so it's just not the pay for performance part, but really that coaching piece with our coaching TLC. So.
Special Director MJ?
The only other thing to add would be with the at-risk early warning system, we met again on Monday, and so we've set up a training timeline for administrators, counselors to look at Infinite Campus and really start to dig deep into that, because if that's where we're going to house all of our data, and then we need to know how to put the data in there first of all, and then how to retrieve it back out. So those trainings have been set up for administrators first, counselors, and then we'll start building capacity within the teachers so they can start to use that as well. So a big shout out to our AEA for getting that set up and for wanting to work during the summer. Even though they have a couple days off in the summer, they still want to come out and help us. So that's it.
Yeah, so there's stuff in my report here, but typically we get, North Polk, we really encourage participation, kids get involved in learning through activities, musicals, and our athletics and stuff. And I see, if you look here in the report, we have great participation. Coaches and our sponsors and directors are really working to teach kids and so they can learn. What's really been exciting and fun is this spring is all the success that kids are having here. Our music department got straight across the board ones on an event, a state large group that we hosted here at North Polk. It was a great event. Our marching band, our whole marching band went down to Adventureland, and we're the 3A champions and got best of class award. Our musical, Jekyll and Hyde, hopefully some of you went to that. I know I saw some of you. The list of awards are amazing, and we've got one student that was nominated. It's called the Triple Threat Award. I don't really know what that is, but she can study at Broadway with the directors and people there. So pretty amazing stuff, and that's in the fine arts area. In the athletic area, our golf team made the second round of golf for the first time ever. Our girls tennis team did the same thing. We got 14 events at state track. Evan Moon's making his third straight appearance in the state tournament. And both our soccer squads are hosting their #1 seeds in their area, so I'm sure I might have missed somebody in there, but it was just really good to see the successes our kids are having, along with the great participation we have. We have about 250 kids participating in our events in the spring. That's not based on softball, and that's just the high school, so really excited about that. A couple things coming down. I'm working on a couple of vendor agreements. Dr. Martin, I have not gotten into this deep, but we're looking for some ways. There's some things you can do with agreements with certain vendors and you get a cash back out of that. Trying to find a way to build up and get a little more money into that all sport account and do some things that we can do so we can continue to support the number of kids we're having out and buy uniforms and equipment and stuff like that. So we're working on it. Hopefully this summer I'll have something for you on that. And that's it. Any questions?
Just one of the questions came up about weightlifting in season and stuff. Our coaches do know that if they have a rigorous week, that they are fully aware that they can call off weightlifting.
Yeah. So here's what we shared with the coaches. One is that, you know, and Diane actually brought this to my attention, is if they get home too late, sleep is an important part of recovery too. If they get home too late and they want to make that morning optional, then they just need to communicate that, and that's okay. And then when it comes to the actual training, we work with Premier to say, okay, we got 4 games this week. What do we need to do with these kids? And I think like girls soccer is one we're going to take them tomorrow morning, and it's going to be a lot of short explosive and lots of stretching because they got a game tomorrow night and Saturday morning. So my thought on that is Premier are the experts in this area, and we want to take their advice on what's best for our kids.
Sure. No, great. Thank you.
Good question.
I know they're young, but they can wear down pretty quickly.
They sure
after
can.
the demanding schedule. Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right, supervisor reports. Let's see, Randy's not here. Lisa?
I don't really have anything more than what was in the report. We're trying to get things ready to send out contracts, and we've been working on all kinds of things, but you guys will be talking about that later. I don't really have anything more than that. I've just been very busy in the business office, and Yellow Folder did come and pick up some stuff. Quite a bit, but there's still more that we need to do. So
When are they going to be back?
they aren't.
We might not, we'll figure out what a different avenue might be, shipping that all over. Because with the training, should be on a full vehicle full, so you have a big truck full again, every year. So we're looking different avenues.
Okay.
And that was hard to judge we didn't know like their size of boxes and stuff and their weight limits. And so, their boxes were smaller than what we had anticipated. Because they couldn't be heavier than 25 pounds.
This is the software that houses all the paper.
Yeah.
And so what percentage of our documentation do we have digital now?
It's in a storage warehouse now for what they took. So all
What
of that.
percentage of our stuff have they taken?
They took all of the active personnel files. They
Almost 60 to 75%.
And so the remainder, though, won't be picked up for a whole.
Or we're looking for a different avenue of getting it there and not wait that long. We're going to get some pricing from them.
Because as part of the deal originally was the transport of all the.
By a number of boxes. We send our number
Oh,
of boxes.
so we-
Right.
Yeah, we send our number of
So
boxes.
we just obligate, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also have in-house people that are gonna be scanning and stuff too. So we have other options.
So we can scan the correct file format side.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the step with Randy? Is his last day next month, or?
Yeah, in month. So, application deadline was last Friday, so I'm going through applications.
How many did you get?
What's the review process going to be for that?
Review, I go through them, Service order now, and then I bring in custodians, we interview them.
That's the same, yeah, that's what I'm curious, so yourself will review the initial resumes, how many are you hoping to do face-to-face interviews of? Okay, so you
I
don't
don't have a set number.
But the custodians, anybody, like the administrators?
And
or-
Mike, I told you, I'm bringing Mike in too, so we work together closely.
Yep, yep, okay. Okay.
Administration of them volunteered to help him.
We can change that.
I was gonna say, and how do you feel about that? One last step.
No, Mr. Richards is sitting back there.
I passed the torch.
He's got the baton.
Yeah.
Only if the building and grounds person is gonna go to Westwood Woods or a field trip like that, then no.
You didn't say this was horse trading.
Mr. Reeves.
It's always fun for me to run numbers on products that we use. And I decided to do the canned fruit this time. And I think it's fun to see that we're actually serving a little bit more canned fruit than what's required. And that's just on canned fruit only. That doesn't include fresh fruits and vegetables. We probably average over 200 pounds of baby carrots a week. And I do know, having served Maddie several times, she does take her fruits and vegetables. I just have never gone out to make sure she's eating it.
You want to check with my kids?
I remind you, Jeff.
What's that?
Your ranch consumption?
We don't do a lot of ranch. I didn't put that on.
Getting vegetables with the way.
Vegetables are just a means of getting the ranch in your mouth.
Jeff, I never questioned you, I mean, you run an excellent shop. Did I see a 60-pound mixer from Bondurant? Was that-
60-quart mixer,
Quart.
which is what we have now. I was intending to get another 60-quart because the baking is just, with the growth of the district, we're doing more and more, and I have to get it done faster and faster. So when I went there to pick it up, I thought it was a 60-quart. I got back and started to look at the electrical, and it's like, ooh, this is a 2-horse instead of a 1-horse. This has to be an 80-quart, and it was. So I'm thrilled with that. Very nice mixer. Hasn't been used very much, but we'll put it to good use.
Okay, good job with the price, too, that's a nice deal.
Mr. Grove.
I don't really have anything else to add other than what's in there, but I'm excited to have a partner in arms coming on in about a week and a half. So Jacob will be, I think his first day is on Thursday, the 30th. So he's moving up. He's got his 2 weeks in, and he's moving. He's got a whole family that they're moving up, but they're moving into in-laws. So. Other than that, we have a pretty big list to go through for the summer, and that's about all I got, unless you have questions for me.
Is it attainable?
What's that?
Your list?
I hope so. I don't think I sure hope so. I will be busy.
Great.
And what I want to say is that, so I was the representative at the foundation meeting this week. Scott, you did an excellent job.
Thanks.
Spelling all that out. And Joe, I think you were always asking about what is our plan for technology, and I think we should work on, not tonight, because he was a little long-winded. No, you did excellent. But
I've never been known to talk too much.
Have him share that.
Yeah, great.
It was good. It was excellent.
And that was kind of a summary of what we're actually working to present to you guys soon. We're actively working on a long-range plan.
Yeah. Okay. All right, great, thank you. Mike?
Just what's on the report, I'd like to talk to you about adding a route for next year.
That's already been approved?
Has it?
Yeah, they already did that? Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Mike. Thank you.
Way to sell us. Got a hard bargain. Anything else? You else want to add anything? And one last time.
No, I'll hold my peace.
All right, new business, fiscal year 2019 budget amendment.
So you saw in the packet what was put in there as far as what was published in the paper, raising the amounts.
And it increased again.
There were higher expenses for nutrition. One of those was, that was on that support, other support. The that was under the non-instructional programs, supplies and property, and that was, those were higher in the nutrition fund. And then the total support services, we're probably okay, but since we're already amending, we're just gonna go ahead and add that to it. We probably won't even get up there. We're probably okay with where we're published. And then the total other expenditures, our facilities and debt service payments were higher, and that was due to construction.
Due to construction, and more of us paid for this fiscal year than we thought it was going to be.
Okay.
That'll be done last fiscal year.
Okay, all right.
At that time.
All right. We're gonna approve all these at one time.
No, we have to do each one individually.
Okay,
Yeah.
do I have a motion?
We approve the 2019 budget amendment.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
2019 graduate list.
So the motion should be pending administrative approval.
Okay, so we had a conversation. Why are the special needs kids on it?
The ones that are returning do not fully graduate until they're completely done their IEP.
Okay,
And
so
then they get a diploma.
Madison's coming back then?
Correct.
That has been correct, that is happening?
She's not graduating,
Okay, Clay's coming back.
not graduating.
Okay.
Not that included.
Anybody else?
Kate,
No.
one more. Kate.
There's one more.
So they won't walk or anything?
They can participate, yeah.
They do participate?
They participate in their cohort ceremony, but it doesn't go to board for approval until the year that they complete their programming, whether that's 5th year, 6th year, so
Okay.
on.
So,
And the
but
diploma
teach
recognizes
me,
that.
I mean, so from a logistics standpoint, Madison will walk across the stage and receive a diploma and everything with her class, or?
Not an actual diploma.
They'll receive
But
a
she'll-
diploma cover, yeah.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
All
The
three of us.
the diploma will actually recognize the year that the student completes their high school
Full
years.
program.
Yep, so whatever year that would be is the year that will be recognized on the diploma, and that's when it goes to board for approval.
okay.
Move to approve the 2019 graduation list pending administrator review.
Second.
Approval?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Foreign exchange students. The De La Serna?
So far, only one.
We have one officially at this point, and they'll be hosted with the Richards family. And then there's a potential of 2 others, nothing finalized yet, one that more than likely will be. And so we would have those by June, if that's the case.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the foreign exchange students? Student?
So,
Yeah. All in favor?
Second.
Second, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Disposable equipment, old middle school lockers.
So with these, we'll try and sell the good ones and the rest will go to scrap. What we're replacing.
Move we approve the disposal of equipment.
Second.
All in favor? All right, closed door session. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.